Some moments don't crash into your life. They stall quietly on the side of the road, waiting for you to notice. Sarah had no idea that a dead car would restart her entire future. The car didn't scream or explode or even smoke. It simply sighed, one soft, final cough, then rolled into silence. Sarah's hands tightened around the steering wheel as the dashboard lights blinked like nervous eyes. The engine was still. Completely gone. She tried the ignition once. Twice. Nothing. "No, no, no, please," she whispered. The road was nearly empty, a thin strip of asphalt stretching between fields that had already begun to turn gold with late afternoon light. Her phone buzzed with a reminder notification she didn't need. Daycare pickup, 15 minutes ago. Her stomach dropped. She stepped out of the car, the door creaking as if tired too, and lifted the hood. Hot air rushed up, smelling faintly of oil and dust. She stared at the engine, blinking back tears, hoping, ridiculously, that understanding it hard enough might fix it. It didn't. Sarah exhaled slowly. She was used to this feeling. The quiet panic. The sense of being one problem away from everything falling apart. Since her husband left 4 years ago, life had been a careful balance of bills, schedules, and small sacrifices no one applauded. And now this. She pulled out her phone. One bar of signal. No roadside assistance. No family nearby. Just her, the car, and the ticking sound of cooling metal. That's when she heard tires crunching on gravel behind her. Sarah turned, instinctively stepping back. A dusty blue pickup truck slowed, then stopped a few feet away. The engine shut off. For a moment, nothing happened. Then the driver's door opened. A man stepped out, tall, early 30s maybe, wearing a faded work jacket and jeans smudged with grease. His movements were calm, unhurried. The kind of calm that came from fixing things for a living. "Hey," he called out, voice warm but careful. "You all right?" Sarah hesitated. Her instincts warred with exhaustion. "My car died." He nodded, already walking closer but stopping at a respectful distance. "Mind if I take a look?" Before she could answer, the passenger door opened. A little girl climbed down, clutching a pink stuffed rabbit missing one eye. She was small, maybe 6, with dark hair tied into uneven pigtails. She stood close to the truck, watching Sarah with quiet curiosity. "That's my daughter, Lily," the man said. "I'm Jake." Sarah swallowed. "I'm Sarah." She glanced at Lily, who offered a shy half-smile, then hugged the rabbit tighter. "I don't really have money for a mechanic," Sarah added quickly, the words spilling out. I'm trying to get to daycare." "It's okay," Jake said gently. "Let me just see what's going on." Something about his tone made it easier to breathe. Jake leaned over the engine, sleeves rolled up, hands moving with practiced confidence. Sarah stood a few steps back, watching him work, feeling strangely useless. Lily had wandered closer to Sarah's car, peering into the back seat window like it was something fascinating. "You have snacks?" Lily asked suddenly. Sarah blinked, then laughed softly. "I do. Emergency ones." She opened the back door and handed Lily a small pack of crackers. Lily accepted them like a treasure and climbed into the back seat, legs swinging as she ate. Jake glanced up briefly. "Say thank you." "Thank you," Lily said, mouth full. Then she paused, sniffed the air, and tilted her head. "Daddy," she said thoughtfully, her voice barely louder than the wind. "She smells like my mom." Jake froze. His hands stopped moving. For half a second, the world seemed to hold its breath. "What?" he asked quietly. Lily leaned forward, still in the back seat, eyes serious. "Her perfume. And her hair. It's the same." Sarah didn't hear the words clearly, just felt a sudden shift, like a chill passing through the afternoon warmth. Jake straightened, clearing his throat. "Battery cable's loose," he said after a moment, forcing a smile. "That'll do it." He tightened something with a quick twist, then gestured. "Try it now." Sarah slid into the driver's seat, heart pounding, and turned the key. The engine roared back to life. She laughed, the sound escaping before she could stop it, a shaky, relieved laugh that surprised even her. "Oh my God!" "Thank you." Jake stepped back, wiping his hands on a rag. "You're good to go." She reached for her purse immediately. "Please let me pay you." He shook his head. "No need." Sarah frowned. "Really, I insist." Jake looked past her, toward Lily in the back seat, who was watching Sarah with an intensity that felt far too grown for such a small face. "Sometimes," he said softly, "you just help." Sarah nodded slowly, something warm and unfamiliar blooming in her chest. She didn't know it yet, but this breakdown wasn't the worst thing that would happen to her that day. It was the beginning. And none of them were ready for what Lily would say next. He fixed her car in less than 5 minutes. What took much longer was fixing the silence that followed. The engine hummed steadily now, as if nothing had ever been wrong. Sarah kept her hands on the steering wheel for a moment longer than necessary, letting the vibration ground her. When she finally turned it off and stepped back out, Jake was already closing the hood. "There," he said. "Shouldn't give you trouble again." Sarah exhaled a long breath she hadn't realized she was holding. "I can't believe it was that simple." "It usually is," Jake replied with a half smile. "Cars like to pretend they're dying when they're really just asking for attention." She laughed softly. It felt strange, laughing on the side of the road with a stranger, moments after nearly crying. Still, she opened her purse again, fingers brushing past receipts and loose change. "No," Jake said firmly but kindly. "Really? It's fine." Sarah looked up at him. "Why?" The question slipped out before she could stop it. Jake hesitated, then shrugged. "Because someone helped me once when I needed it. Figured I'd pass it on." Before Sarah could respond, Lily leaned forward between the front seats, her chin resting on the headrest. Cracker crumbs dotted her sweater. "My daddy fixes everything," she announced proudly. Jake smiled at her. "Not everything. You fix me when I'm sad," Lily said matter-of-factly. The words landed heavier than either adult expected. Sarah crouched down to Lily's level, her heart softening. "That's a pretty important thing to fix." Lily studied Sarah's face the way children do when they sense something familiar but can't explain why. Her eyes lingered, tracing Sarah's smile, her hair, the faint lines of tiredness she didn't bother hiding. "You look like her," Lily said. Sarah tilted her head. "Like who, sweetheart?" Lily leaned closer, lowering her voice as if sharing a secret meant only for Sarah. "My mom." The world seemed to narrow. Jake stiffened. "Lily. It's okay," Lily continued calmly. "She went to heaven. But Daddy says she's still with us. And you smell like her." Sarah felt her throat tighten so suddenly it hurt. I'm really sorry." Lily nodded, accepting the apology like an adult. "It was a long time ago. Daddy cries less now." Jake swallowed hard, turning slightly away under the excuse of wiping his hands again. "I should get her going," he said quietly. "We're late." Sarah stood, unsure what to say. The moment felt too fragile for words. She closed her car door, then paused as Lily suddenly reached out, grabbing her sleeve with surprising urgency. "Wait," Lily whispered. Sarah bent down again. Lily leaned close, her lips near Sarah's ear, breath warm and shaky. "She's my mom," Lily whispered. "Please marry her." Time stopped. Sarah's heart slammed against her ribs. She pulled back slowly, meeting Lily's wide, hopeful eyes that had already known loss and were still brave enough to hope again. Jake spun around. "Lily!" His face flushed with embarrassment and panic. "I'm so sorry, she doesn't understand." "It's okay," Sarah said quickly, standing up, though her hands were trembling. Lily looked between them, confused. "I just don't want Daddy to be lonely." The honesty of it shattered something inside Sarah. Jake knelt in front of his daughter, his voice gentle but firm. "Sweetheart, you can't ask people that." "But you said she smelled like Mommy," Lily insisted. And you smiled. Jake fell silent. Sarah watched his face soften, watched the battle between grief and hope flicker in his eyes. Something passed between them then, recognition maybe. Two people who knew how heavy love could be after loss. Sarah cleared her throat. I should get going. My daughter's waiting. Lily's face fell. Before she could think better of it, Sarah added, but maybe I could buy you both coffee sometime. As a thank you? Jake looked up, surprised. You don't have to. I want to, Sarah said. No pressure. Just coffee. Lily brightened instantly. Coffee has cookies. Jake chuckled despite himself. She's not wrong. He stood, nodding slowly. All right. Coffee. They exchanged numbers quickly, awkward smiles lingering longer than necessary. As Sarah drove away, her heart raced, not from fear this time, but from something unfamiliar and dangerous. Hope. Behind her, Lily watched the car disappear down the road. She's nice, Lily said softly. Jake started the truck. She is. Lily hugged her rabbit tightly. I think she's my mom. Jake didn't correct her. Because for the first time in years, the idea didn't feel impossible. And somewhere between a free car repair and a whispered wish, a family had already begun to form. The road was fixed. The car was running. But nothing felt like it had gone back to normal. Sarah barely remembered the drive to the daycare. The road blurred past her windshield as Lily's whisper replayed again and again in her mind, please marry her. Each time the words surfaced, her chest tightened, not from discomfort, but from the weight of something she hadn't felt in years. Possibility. She pulled into the daycare parking lot with 2 minutes to spare. Her daughter, Emma, ran into her arms moments later, all laughter and tangled hair. Sarah hugged her a little tighter than usual. Mommy, you're squishing me. Emma giggled. Sorry, Sarah said, smiling into her daughter's shoulder. I just miss you. But even as she strapped Emma into her car seat, Sarah's thoughts drifted back to the roadside, to grease-stained hands, careful kindness, and a little girl brave enough to ask for a miracle out loud. That night, after dinner and bath time, Emma fell asleep quickly, her small hand curled around Sarah's finger. Sarah lay awake long after, staring at the ceiling. She told herself it was nothing. A strange moment. A child's innocent wish. And yet, her phone buzzed softly on the nightstand. Unknown number. This is Jake. Just wanted to check, did you make it to daycare okay? Sarah smiled before she could stop herself. She typed back, yes. Thank you again, for everything. 3 dots appeared. Disappeared. Then, coffee tomorrow? If that still feels okay. She hesitated only a second. I'd like that. The cafe was small and warm, tucked between a bookstore and a flower shop. Sarah arrived early, nerves fluttering like she was breaking some unspoken rule. Jake walked in a few minutes later, Lily bouncing ahead of him. She's here, Lily announced, pointing. Sarah laughed and waved. Hi. Lily ran straight to her, hugging her waist without hesitation. Sarah froze, then gently hugged her back. Jake cleared his throat. Sorry. She's friendly. I don't mind, Sarah said honestly. They ordered coffee. Lily negotiated a cookie. As they sat, conversation came easily, almost too easily. They talked about broken cars and overwork schedules. About favorite bedtime stories. About how quiet houses felt after children fell asleep. Eventually, the laughter softened. Jake stirred his coffee, staring into it longer than necessary. My wife, Anna, died 3 years ago. Cancer. Fast. His voice was steady, practiced. Lily doesn't remember much. Just smells. Songs. The way someone hums when they cook. Sarah nodded slowly. My husband left when Emma was a baby. He said he wasn't ready for a family. She smiled faintly. Turns out neither was he. There was no pity in Jake's eyes. Only understanding. Lily slid a crayon drawing across the table. 3 stick figures holding hands. "This is us," she declared confidently. Jake blinked. "Us?" Lily nodded. "Me. Daddy. Sarah." Sarah felt tears sting her eyes. Jake smiled, soft and sad all at once. "That's very nice, sweetheart. Can she come over?" Lily asked. "To our house." Jake hesitated, glancing at Sarah. "Play date," Sarah said quickly. "Just the kids." He nodded. "Okay." Days turned into weeks. Playdates became routine. Sarah learned Lily liked pancakes shaped like stars. Jake learned Emma refused to sleep without her nightlight. They never called it anything more than help. Dinner. A favor. But it grew anyway. One evening, Sarah's car refused to start again, this time in her driveway. Jake came over with tools and patience. Lily played with Emma on the porch. "You know," Jake said, tightening a bolt, "this car might be cursed." Sarah laughed. "I was thinking the same." When the engine started, Sarah clapped quietly. "I owe you?" He stood, wiping his hands. "You don't owe me anything." Their eyes met, and for a second either of them looked away. Inside, Lily whispered loudly to Emma, "That's my daddy." Emma whispered back, "That's my mommy." They both giggled. Jake and Sarah pretended not to hear. One night, weeks later, Lily fell asleep on Sarah's couch during a movie. Emma curled up beside her. Jake moved to carry Lily, but she stirred, mumbling, "Don't leave her." Jake froze. Sarah's voice was gentle. "She can stay." He smiled, gratitude shining through exhaustion. "Thank you." As Jake laid Lily down, he whispered, "She hasn't felt this safe in a long time." Sarah replied quietly, "Neither have I." They stood in the doorway for a moment longer than necessary. No one said the word love. But it was already there, quiet, careful, and waiting. And neither of them knew how close they were to crossing the line that would change everything. Love didn't arrive like a lightning strike. It showed up the way healing always does, quietly, patiently, one ordinary moment at a time. Nothing changed all at once. And yet, everything did. Sarah didn't wake up one morning suddenly in love. Jake didn't announce some grand realization. There were no dramatic confessions, no sweeping gestures. Just a series of small, almost invisible moments that began stacking themselves into something solid. It started with routines. Wednesday dinners at Sarah's place because it was closer to Emma's school. Saturday mornings at Jake's house because Lily liked showing off her room. Grocery lists began to include things neither household needed alone. Extra juice boxes, different cereal, 2 kinds of toothpaste. They still called it help. Jake fixed a leaky faucet at Sarah's house. Sarah helped Lily with a school project when Jake worked late. When Emma got sick, Jake dropped off soup without being asked. When Lily had a nightmare, Sarah stayed on the phone until she fell asleep again. They never crossed the line. Not yet. But the children noticed. One evening, Lily and Emma sprawled on the living room floor, drawing with markers while Jake and Sarah cleaned up dinner. "Do you think?" Lily whispered loudly. "They know?" Emma shrugged. "Grown-ups are slow." Lily nodded solemnly. "That's true." Jake paused mid-wipe. Sarah bit her lip to stop herself from laughing. Later that night, as they watched the girls sleep on opposite ends of the couch, Jake spoke quietly. "She used to cry every night after Anna died," he said. "Wouldn't let go of my hand. Would ask when Mommy was coming back." Sarah listened, heart heavy. "She doesn't ask anymore," Jake continued. "Now she just asks if you're coming over." Sarah swallowed. "I hope that's okay." Jake looked at her. "It's more than okay." The air shifted then, not suddenly, but unmistakably. The first real test came unexpectedly. Emma's father called. It was late. Sarah answered out of habit, not hope. The conversation was short and uncomfortable. He said he wanted to be more involved. He asked questions he'd never asked before. When the call ended, Sarah sat in silence, shaking. Jake found her on the porch, wrapped in a sweater despite the warm night. You okay? He asked. She nodded, then shook her head. I don't know. He didn't push. He just sat beside her, close enough that she could feel his warmth, but far enough to give her space. He left, she said quietly. And now he wants back in. And I don't know how to protect her from that. Jake's voice was steady. You already are. Sarah looked at him, tears finally spilling. What if I get this wrong again? Jake met her gaze. Then we figure it out. Together. The word together lingered between them like a promise either of them had officially made. Weeks later, Lily got sick, high fever, shaking chills. Jake paced the living room, helpless in a way he hadn't felt since Anna's last days. Sarah arrived within minutes of his call. She didn't ask what to do. She just did it, cool cloth, medicine, soft humming while Lily drifted in and out of sleep. At one point, Lily opened her eyes and reached for Sarah's hand. You stay, she murmured. Sarah squeezed gently. I'm here. Jake watched from the doorway, throat tight. For the first time since losing his wife, the house didn't feel haunted by absence. It felt full. The line finally blurred on a quiet Sunday afternoon. The girls were outside, chalking hearts onto the driveway. Jake and Sarah sat on the steps, shoulder to shoulder. Jake spoke first. I'm scared. Sarah nodded. Me too. I don't want to hurt them, he said. Or you. I don't want to pretend this isn't happening, Sarah replied. They looked at each other then, really looked. Jake reached out slowly, giving her every chance to pull away. She didn't. Their hands intertwined, tentative but sure. No kiss. No rush. Just the understanding that whatever this was, it mattered. From the driveway, Lily's voice rang out. Daddy? Yes, sweetheart? Is Sarah staying for dinner? Jake smiled at Sarah before answering. Yes. Lily grinned. Good. Because without anyone naming it yet, the family was already forming. And the only thing left was the courage to say it out loud.